So the Bassmasters announced today that they are redoing their payout schedule once again for the 2025 Bassmaster Elite Series and the Bassmaster Classic. As we all know, when they came out with their original payout schedule that they were going to implement this coming year, it was pretty laughable, and there was a lot of backlash from the pros. Mainly because they never had a say in any of it. So one of the few other things that they added was an advisory board to help it, so something like this doesn't happen again. But we're going to dive into the Elite Series Payout. I'm David Brolenshenko. As always, make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and all the other jazz, so you don't miss out on any of this fun stuff. So back a few months ago, Bassmaster said we're done with entry fees, and that didn't sit well. It drastically just slashed all the payouts and everything, from the Angler of the Year to the Elite Series payout events. Everything was just, it was to the point where if you made the Bassmaster Classic, you came in last place, you weren't going to make money, you were going to lose money, which is pretty pathetic. So, but let's look at what the anglers got together, and they were able to talk to Bassmaster, and came up with this new revision, I guess. The Bassmaster pros are going to be contributing $10,000 for the year, which is pretty good compared. Right off the top, that's a savings of $30,000 from what they were paying this last year. It's still not free, but when you look at it, it's still a very good relief. When I was competing on the Opens this year, I had budgeted $5,000 per event is what I figured it was going to cost me. The entry fee was $1,800 for an open event, and for the guys that qualified for the Elite Series in the past, they're like, okay, we're going from $1,800 entry fees to $5,000 entry fees at the top level. That's not really a reward right there. That's more like, well, shoot, now I gotta come up with some more money here. But so I think that this is a good slash to. I don't know if we're ever going to make it to 0 entry fees. It'll take a big corporate money to do it. As we all know, MLF tried that for the first year that they were out. They proved that it was unsustainable, even with Johnny Morris behind them. $10,000 for the season for over 9 events. They're only paying, that breaks it down to $1,111 and some odd cents per event. That's a pretty good reward from going from the Opens to the Elite Series level. Let's take a look at the payout here. So, hopefully you guys can see this. So first place is going to still be $100,000, and then it increments down. I believe second place before this year was $35,000 or whatever. We trickle them down, but 10 grand for 10th place for a top 10. Okay, I can live with that. And then let's see here, it increments down. 25th place, $6,000 on a $1,100 entry fee, pretty good. And we're just going to scroll all the way to the bottom as usual. And as you can see, 50th place, $5,500. That's a guy still making money at that point, or a little bit of money. See here, yeah. 26th through 50th is $5,500. Okay. The contingency awards, it's $1,000 for daily big bass, so there's $4,000 over the course of 4 days. Big bag of the tournament's $2,000. Overall big bass is $2,000, and the bass track, you're on deal, is $1,000. So that's all fine and dandy. I'm cool with that. Honestly, though, I think it could be better. It's the best payout I thought was back in 2020 when the pros were paying out $2,500 per event and everyone was getting a check. Even though there was only 75 guys, last place was $2,500. I think, if I remember right, it was 51st through 75th basically got their entry fee back. As far as the Angler of the Year payouts, the previous plan was to only pay out the first 3 guys. They have since added 4th and 5th. As we can see here, first is 100 grand, second 50, 25, 12 and a half, and 6,250. That, and then AOY 10 grand, or ROY 10 grand, and Big Bass of the Year is 10 grand. I would have rather seen the top 10 guys out of 100 getting paid for AOY. 100 guys should at least be 10% of the guys should be getting AOY money. And you probably could do that if you would have stayed with the $2,500 entry fee. More guys are getting paid for their efforts. It doesn't reward the guys that sucked for the year versus the guys that are consistent throughout the year. Because the previous payout that they had, we all know the guys who were finishing consistently in the middle, they were doing way better. There was no they got shafted on the previous payout. So let's go to the BassMaster Classic payout for 2026. Or I don't know why it says 2026 Classic. But here's a revised BassMaster Classic payout. $300,000 for first, which is good yet. And then let's see how far they're paying down to. Paying out all the way to 58th place, which is $3,000, which I don't recall. I'm still not happy. I'm not happy with that, just because at $3,000 you're still losing money. How does that work? You work your butt off and to get to the biggest stage, and if you come in last place, you're only getting $3 grand. But I suppose that's still better than nothing. And it's no entry fee. I'm just saying that from 26th place and below, you're probably going to lose money if you get to the BassMaster Classic. But that's my thoughts. This looks like a good compromise. Like I said, I don't think we'll ever get to 0 entry fee. But at least now, when these guys are going from the opens level to the elite level, they're getting rewarded as far as decrease in entry fees that they got to pay out. It's easier for them to come up with the money. I know I could pay 10 grand a lot easier than 4,000 or 40,000 or 45,000, wherever they were paying over 9 events would have been 45,000. So, but these guys should be a lot happier with this payout.